Everyone seems to forget the, well, one high Renaissance master, and I mean, I guess that's fair. I mean, everybody knows Raphael, Leonardo da Vinci, and Michelangelo, and lots of people even know Titian, even though he's more of the late Renaissance period, but everyone forgets Giorgione. What's up, guys? This is Shannon for Unique Arts. Welcome back, and today we're just going to talk quickly on Giorgione. So he is a high Renaissance master, and in fact he is the tutor or the master to Titian. So back in the day, everyone did apprenticeships. They would work under a certain artist, and they would work in their workshop and such like that. And to be honest, a big reason why Giorgione is probably not remembered so much is because he never signed any works, which I think was an oversight. And because of that, we don't know if a lot of the works are really his or completely his. A lot of the works had been believed to be his, have since been attributed to the likes of Titian and such as that. I mean, Titian did complete a lot of Giorgione's work, but sometimes there's like, at least earlier in Titian's career, there's a little bit of overlap. We don't really know if it's truly a Giorgione or a Titian. And so Giorgione, if you understand Titian, he wasn't part of the Florence school like those other Holy Trinity of Renaissance painting are. He was part of the Venetian school, so he's based out of Venice. And he was actually the student of Bellini, early Italian Renaissance painter who I really like as well. But he didn't sign any of his works, which I guess Bellini didn't teach him that, or maybe he just had a big, like a super cool reasoning for it that he just never wrote down or something. Three Philosophers is a great example of one of the works that was initially believed to be a Giorgione, is now mostly attributed to Titian, but who really knows, I guess? Maybe the experts think they know. I don't really know. I think it looks good regardless. But Giorgione did a lot of different things. He did a lot of portraits. He only lived till he was about 32, actually. He did a good amount of work within his short life, but he didn't live very long. But there are a few works that I think are really cool and really interesting. I think he's a big figure within art history, one that we might not necessarily think of a lot. And so one of his, if not the most popular painting he did, is The Tempest. And so The Tempest is a beautiful, pretty small canvas, and when I first look at it, I don't know about you guys, but my eye goes immediately to that man on the left who looks like a contemporary Venetian, and his eyes are looking at this woman who's naked, like breastfeeding her child. I believe she's supposed to be a gypsy, and then she's looking right back at us. So there's kind of this connection, this weird dynamic going on in the painting, but it's considered pretty much one of the first, if not the first, landscape painting in Western art history. And that's because if you ignore those figures in the foreground, it's got this beautiful landscape, and it reminds me of a landscape by Poussin where there's a lot of buildings in it and such like that, but generally speaking, it's a landscape, and it's really cool. So Giorgione is cool for that stuff. Giorgione also did a sleeping Venus, which is really interesting. You see this a lot, like Titian did one, and maybe most famously Monet did one. It's a reclining nude figure, her hand's a little suggestive, and it's Venus sleeping. It's again kind of like a landscape. It's kind of a pastoral, nice, beautiful, fluffy backdrop. I didn't know that he had done one of these, to be honest, but it's super cool. It was painted really early, about 1508, 1510, and that's something that you see a lot throughout art history. And I don't know exactly how it was received during the time, because I know people like Monet had a really hard time with certain things in the reception they received, including his luncheon on the grass. And apparently that's kind of copied from Giorgione again. So again, Giorgione is like way more important than I thought he was for some reason. And he has a painting called The Pastoral Concert, and it's these nude female figures with dressed, clothed male figures. Again, I don't know what the story is, to be honest, and I don't know if it was received well, or you know, if the Catholic Church killed him when he was 32, that's why he died so young. Maybe I shouldn't say that, maybe that's provocative, but either way, that one's also kind of attributed to Titian. I'm probably finished it, but it's still kind of attributed to Giorgione as well. And then just the last little piece I want to look at is he painted a Judith. And you don't see Judith that often, I feel like, during the Renaissance, at least not that I know of. At least there's no super famous Judiths. You see that a lot when you get to Baroque art, just a little bit later, when Caravaggio did one, Elisabetta Serrani did one, probably most famously and probably the best is Artemisia Gentileschi, but Giorgione did one. He actually did one before everyone else was doing. He did it before it was cool, pretty much. And his is a little bit more mild. The head's on the floor, she's got her foot on it, and she doesn't look Jewish or anything like that. She looks like a contemporary Italian. So I mean, think of that what you will. But either way, super interesting. He did a lot of things that were really popular at some point before they were cool. He was like a hipster. He's like the high Renaissance hipster, I guess. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But Giorgione, yeah, I hope you guys understand a little bit more about him. I certainly find him pretty interesting. He is definitely someone worth considering, especially if you really like Titian. And if you really like Titian, you gotta study Giorgione. To be honest, even if you don't really like Titian, a lot of people really like Titian throughout art history. Like, pretty sure Rubens loved that guy, and Velasquez, stuff like that. But yeah, that's Giorgione, and I hope I'll see you guys next time. This has been Shane with Unique Arts.